Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and Secretary Hegseth and Chairman Kane. Thank you all for your testimony today. I'd like to first identify with my colleagues' comments from Wisconsin, but I'd like to take it a step further. I think you all are owed an apology. And although I really wish that all of my Democratic colleagues' comments were of the nature of my colleague from North Carolina just a minute ago, that is not what happened today. And all we saw was flagrant disrespect towards both of you, and that's not what this committee is about. We should be able to disagree without showing disrespect. We should be able to have discourse without sowing discord, and we should be able to question without using words that you can't take back, and that's not what happened today from the other side of this committee. We need to do a lot better than this. But I will say, gentlemen, that you handled those questions with humility and grace. And today, many of my Democratic colleagues have struck out. And it's the second day in a row that many of my Democratic colleagues have struck out. So with that, I've got a couple.
One of the most striking aspects of the initiative is the willingness to make hard choices, choices that are politically unpopular but strategically vital. Retiring old weapon systems, rethinking force structures, and dismantling inefficient contracting processes are not easy moves. There are always constituencies who resist change, who cling to the familiar even when it no longer serves the mission. But the truth is clear: continuing with the status quo would mean falling behind. The modernization of the Army is not about comfort. It is about survival, strength, and the readiness to deter or defeat rising powers like China, who are investing heavily in advanced capabilities. This is not a game of catch-up. It is a race to define the future of warfare, and the United States cannot afford to lose. At the heart of this transformation lies a deep respect for the men and women in uniform. These are the individuals who will step onto the front lines, who will put their lives on the line to defend freedom. They deserve the best tools, the most efficient systems, and strategies that actually reflect the world they face.
China is something that this country desperately needed. It's something that American taxpayers desperately needed. It's something that our servicemen and servicewomen have desperately needed. What is your plan to iterate the Army Transformation Initiative across both our Navy and our Air Forces?
It's a great point. I want to first compliment Army Chief General George, as well as Army Secretary Driscoll, for their initiative out the gate to not waste any time in recognizing precisely what you said, that we need an Army structured and prepared to fight the wars of the future. We owe it to the service, we owe it to the American people. And they followed in large part a Marine Corps that led the way overall in those, as sometimes they do, often. But I recognize other services, the Navy and the Air Force, could do more in that regard as well. Different ships, you might say, to steer than an Army and how you effectuate that modernization or that shift. We think the hard choices we're making in platforms and capabilities in those services mirror the kind of hard choices we're making in the Army, and that's what we see as our job. In this moment right now, considering the threats we face, the world we live in, I'm going to spend the capital I have to be happy to take the arrows of constituencies or districts, and say, no, we're going to put forward what's best for the Army or the Marine Corps or the Navy or the Air Force, and we're going to make the tough calls. And that might create some consternation, and that's okay, but our job is to ensure our budget matches those capabilities. Army transformation is a great example, and we're going to look for it in other services too.
A large-scale defense system like the famous Iron Dome works wonders on a national level, but mini-domes offer a scalable, localized solution. They can be deployed in major cities, around power plants, near stadiums, or even across critical transportation hubs. By layering defense in this way, America builds not just one shield but many, ensuring that no single point of failure can leave the nation exposed. It's like building a web of protection across the country, a network of security that adapts to the unpredictable nature of modern threats. Beyond the hardware and technology, mini-domes send a powerful psychological message. They remind adversaries that America is not an easy target, that the cost of aggression will always outweigh any potential gains.
I very much look forward to seeing what you'll have the Navy and the Air Force do, and we'll be behind you 100% of the way. And Chairman Kane, a lot of talk today about the Golden Dome. I don't really fully appreciate some of my Democratic colleagues not knowing what that's about or knowing the threats behind why we have to have the Golden Dome. But I also believe that we have to have mini domes all across our country. As we've seen, we've had very low-cost, high-impact technology proliferate all around the world. And I think we need to look no further than what happened in Ukraine just 2 weeks ago, where you had a $100,000 investment by the Ukrainians scuttle over $7 billion worth of hardware by the Russians. I think that we have to look forward into the future and anticipate that we may face the exact same threats, maybe not against our military, but against our infrastructure, against our stadiums, against our city centers, and we need mini domes to protect this country against those threats. How are you all working that problem set?
One of the clearest indicators of this shift is the rise of drones and autonomous technology. Drones can be small, cheap, and devastatingly effective, giving even smaller adversaries the ability to inflict damage on far more powerful forces. They can swarm in large numbers, overwhelming traditional defenses and forcing militaries to think in terms of mass, not just precision. Alongside drones, cyber warfare has become a weapon of choice. With a few lines of code, hostile actors can disrupt power grids, shut down communication networks, or spread disinformation that destabilizes entire societies. These attacks don't need tanks or missiles, yet their impact can rival or even surpass the destruction of conventional weapons. Another critical element of modern warfare is the sheer scale of exchanges, kinetic and non-kinetic. In the past, battles were limited by the number of soldiers or machines a country could field. Now, technology multiplies force exponentially. A cyber attack can be launched across continents in seconds, and drone swarms can overwhelm billion-dollar defense systems at a fraction of the cost. This asymmetry makes the battlefield more unpredictable than ever before. America must be prepared to respond not just with superior firepower, but with networks that can match the scale of these attacks. It is about building resilience, redundancy, and rapid response systems that can absorb blows and keep functioning.
Well, sir, first, thanks for the question. Thanks for your service. One of the things that we're learning is the nature and way we fight wars is changing. We're starting to face, as you're alluding to, problems of mass, where numbers of exchanges, kinetic exchanges, and frankly non-kinetic in the cyber domain are increasing exponentially. So we have to match networks with networks and mass with mass. And so as we move forward to create the force of the future, that's on our radar.
Gentleman's time's expired. Chair, now